Instant noodles seem harmless, quick, cheap, comforting on a cold evening. But for anyone over 50, what lurks inside that wrapper could be silently damaging your heart, kidneys, and blood pressure. From dangerous sodium levels to banned additives, some brands are gambling with your health. Today, we expose 9 brands to stop buying and the 2 that are safe. Coming in at number 9, we have Pot Noodle. Pot Noodle has been a British cupboard staple for decades. The brand promises convenience, bold flavours, and a satisfying meal in minutes. The packaging is playful, the adverts are cheeky. You would think you are getting a harmless snack. Walk into any corner shop, petrol station, or supermarket in Britain, and you will find those familiar plastic tubs stacked high. Millions of us grew up eating them, but here is what they do not tell you on that colourful plastic tub. A single pot noodle can contain over 2 grams of salt. That is more than a third of your entire recommended daily intake in one small pot. The NHS recommends adults consume no more than 6 grams of salt per day. One pot of noodles takes you a third of the way there before you have eaten anything else. For seniors managing hypertension, that is not a snack. That is a cardiovascular gamble. The sodium hits your bloodstream fast, raising blood pressure within hours. If you're on blood pressure medication, you have just sabotaged your own treatment without realizing it. And the sodium is only the beginning. Pot noodles' ingredient list reads like a chemistry textbook. Monosodium glutamate, disodium ionosinate, maltodextrin, flavor enhancers designed to make you crave more, Bolsnar, eat more, buy more, assisi. These additives can trigger headaches, palpitations, and that uncomfortable flushing sensation some people dismiss as nothing. But for seniors with heart conditions, these are warning signs your body is struggling to cope with the chemical onslaught. Consumer watchdog groups have flagged pot noodle repeatedly for misleading portion labeling. The nutritional information often assumes you will only eat half the pot. Who does that? Nobody. You finish the whole thing and you consume double the sodium, double the saturated fat, double the risk. This is not accidental. It is a deliberate strategy to make the numbers look better on the packet. There is also the texture issue. That slimy, slightly rubbery consistency is not just unpleasant. It is a sign of heavily processed wheat that has been stripped of fiber and nutrients. Your digestive system gets a hit of refined carbohydrates with almost nothing beneficial in return. Blood sugar spikes, energy crashes, and if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, you are feeding the very condition you are trying to control. Pot noodle promises comfort. What it delivers is a sodium bomb wrapped in clever marketing. Seniors deserve better than a brand that prioritizes shelf life over your actual life. At number 8, we have Bachelor's Super Noodles. Super Noodles have been feeding British families since the 1980s. The brand promises quick preparation, great taste, and a filling meal for pennies. Sounds perfect for anyone watching their budget. The packaging features steaming bowls of noodles that look homemade and wholesome. But appearances can be deceiving. But let us talk about what Bachelor's is not advertising. A standard pack of Super Noodles contains around 1.8 grams of salt. Again, we are looking at nearly a third of your daily limit in a single serving. But here is the problem. Most people add extra seasonings, sauces, or sides. A splash of soy sauce here, a sprinkle of cheese there. Suddenly, one meal has pushed you dangerously close to or beyond the safe sodium threshold. For seniors with kidney disease, this is critical. According to Kidney Research UK, approximately 3 million people in Britain have chronic kidney disease, and many do not know it. Your kidneys are already working overtime to filter waste from your blood. Dump excessive sodium into the system and you are forcing damaged organs to work harder. The result can be fluid retention, swelling in your ankles and feet, increased blood pressure, and in severe cases, hospitalization. Bachelor's also relies heavily on palm oil. This is listed clearly on the packet, yet most consumers do not understand what it means. Palm oil is high in saturated fat, the type directly linked to elevated cholesterol and increased risk of heart disease. One study from the British Heart Foundation found that reducing saturated fat intake by just 1% can lower cardiovascular risk by 2 to 3%. Every Super Noodle packet works against that goal. Then there is the flavouring issue. Bachelor's uses artificial colours and flavourings in several varieties. tartrazine, also known as E102, has been linked to hyperactivity and allergic reactions. While this is often discussed in relation to children, seniors with medication sensitivities are equally vulnerable. If you are taking antihistamines, blood thinners, or heart medications, artificial additives can create unexpected interactions that your doctor never warned you about. The texture of super noodles, that slightly mushy, overcooked feel. Another red flag. This is not fresh pasta. This is dried, processed wheat that has been treated, bleached and reformed. Your body breaks it down almost instantly, causing rapid blood sugar spikes followed by crashes. For diabetics, this is dangerous. For anyone trying to maintain steady energy throughout the day, it is counterproductive. Bachelor's promises super convenience. What you actually get is super risk hidden behind familiar branding. Most people never learn which noodles are actually safe, but we will break it down at the very end of this video. Stay with us. Now, at number 7, we have Nissin Soba Noodles. Nissin positions itself as the premium choice, the sleek packaging, the exotic flavors, the promise of authentic Japanese quality. Walk down the world foods aisle and Nissin stands out with its sophisticated branding. You would think you are getting something superior to the budget brands. Something worth paying extra for. Think again. Nissin Soba Noodles contain some of the highest sodium levels in the entire instant noodle market. A single serving can pack over 2.3 grams of salt. That is nearly 40% of your recommended daily intake in one meal. For seniors managing heart conditions, this is not a treat. This is a threat dressed in premium packaging. But here is where it gets worse. Nissin has faced recalls in multiple countries for contamination issues. In 2019, certain batches were pulled from shelves in parts of Europe after traces of ethylene oxide were detected in sesame seeds used as seasoning. Ethylene oxide is classified as a carcinogen by international health bodies. It is banned in food products across the European Union for good reason. Yet somehow, contaminated ingredients made it through production and onto shop shelves where unsuspecting consumers purchased them. The company promised rigorous quality control. The reality was contaminated batches reaching consumers who trusted the brand with their health. For seniors with compromised immune systems, consuming even trace amounts of banned substances can trigger inflammation, digestive distress, and long-term cellular damage. Your body simply does not recover as quickly as it once did. What a younger person might process without noticing could leave you feeling unwell for days, wondering what went wrong. Nissin also uses MSG extensively. While monosodium glutamate is technically approved for use, studies have shown it can cause what researchers call Chinese restaurant syndrome: headaches, flushing, sweating, and chest pressure. For seniors with angina or irregular heartbeats, these symptoms can be terrifying. You might genuinely believe you're having a cardiac event when the culprit is hidden in your noodle seasoning. The texture of Nissin Soba, that chewy, slightly oily finish. It comes from the frying process used during manufacturing. These noodles are pre-fried in oil before packaging, which is why they cook so quickly. But that also means you are consuming oxidized fats every time you eat them. Oxidized fats contribute to arterial plaque buildup, increasing stroke and heart attack risk over time. Nissin promises Japanese authenticity. What it delivers is processed convenience with a premium price tag and hidden health costs. Isn't it strange how billion-pound food companies keep having recalls, yet their products are still on every shelf the next week? Number 6 is Kabuto Noodles. Kabuto markets itself as the gourmet option. The brand talks about authentic Asian recipes, restaurant-quality ingredients, and a sophisticated eating experience. The packaging looks upmarket. The flavor descriptions sound exotic. The price reflects this positioning. Kabuto costs significantly more than budget alternatives. You would expect that premium to buy you something better. But premium pricing does not guarantee premium safety. Kabuto noodles contain sodium levels comparable to the cheaper brands they claim to surpass. A typical pot delivers around 1.7 grams of salt. Not as extreme as some competitors, but still problematic for anyone monitoring sodium intake. And here is the catch. Kabuto's portions are larger than standard pots. You consume more noodles, more broth, more seasoning. The total sodium intake often exceeds 2 grams per sitting. For seniors on diuretics, commonly prescribed for heart failure and high blood pressure. Excessive sodium directly counteracts your medication. You are essentially paying for treatment that Kabuto then undermines with every spoonful. Your doctor prescribes pills to reduce fluid retention. Kabuto floods your system with salt that causes it. The ingredient quality raises questions too. Kabuto uses palm oil, soy lecithin, and various emulsifiers throughout its range. The brand does not disclose sourcing details, leaving consumers guessing about supply chain integrity. Given the contamination scandals affecting other noodle brands, this lack of transparency is concerning at best. Consumer reviews on various platforms have flagged inconsistent product quality. Some batches taste fresh and flavorful. Others arrive with a stale, cardboard-like texture suggesting storage issues or stock rotation problems. For seniors with sensitive palates or digestive systems, inconsistent quality is not just disappointing. It can cause genuine discomfort and digestive upset. The broth packets contain concentrated flavorings that dissolve into an intensely salty MSG heavy liquid. That rich taste comes at a cost. Your taste buds may be satisfied, but your kidneys are working overtime to process the chemical load. Kabuto promises a gourmet experience. What you actually get is overpriced risk dressed in fancy packaging. At number 5, we have Naked Noodle. Naked Noodle sounds healthy. The name implies simplicity, transparency, nothing to hide. The packaging is clean and modern, featuring bright colors and wholesome imagery. You would expect minimal ingredients and honest nutrition from a brand that calls itself Naked. The reality is far less innocent. Naked Noodle contains over 1.9 grams of salt per pot. Despite the wholesome branding, the sodium content rivals the most processed competitors on the market. For seniors managing hypertension, one pot pushes you dangerously close to your daily limit, with breakfast and dinner still ahead. The math simply does not work for anyone trying to protect their cardiovascular health. The brand uses flavor enhancers, including MSG and yeast extract. Here is something the food industry does not want you to know. Yeast extract is essentially hidden MSG. It triggers the same glutamate response without requiring MSG to appear prominently on the label. This is a legal loophole that food manufacturers exploit constantly. You think you are avoiding additives because you do not see MSG listed. The additives are still there, just disguised under a different name. Naked Noodle also contains palm oil. The environmental and health concerns surrounding palm oil are well documented by health organizations and environmental groups alike. High saturated fat content, links to deforestation, supply chain ethics that many consumers find troubling. Yet the Naked branding implies you are getting something clean and simple. The noodle texture, that soft, slightly slimy consistency, it indicates heavy processing. These are not fresh noodles. They have been dried, treated, and reformed to cook quickly in boiling water. Nutritionally, you are consuming empty carbohydrates that spike blood sugar without providing sustained energy or meaningful nutrients. For diabetic seniors, this matters enormously. Blood sugar instability affects mood, energy, concentration, and long-term organ health. Every Naked Noodle pot contributes to the roller coaster your body is struggling to manage. Your pancreas works harder. Your energy fluctuates wildly. Your organs take the strain. Consumer complaints on review sites have mentioned off-putting smells from certain batches, a musty chemical odor that suggests storage problems or ingredient degradation. Fresh food does not smell like that. Processed food that has sat too long in warehouses does. Naked Noodle promises transparency. What it delivers is clever marketing hiding the same problems as every other instant noodle brand. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposés. Do not go yet. The solution comes at the very end of this video, and it could change how you shop forever. Moving to number 4, we have Kohi Noodles. Kohi positions itself as the value choice. Cheap, filling, available everywhere from corner shops to major supermarkets. For seniors on fixed incomes or state pensions, the price point is genuinely appealing. When money is tight, a meal for less than £1 seems sensible, but the lowest price often comes with the highest hidden costs. Kohi noodles contain alarming sodium levels. Some varieties exceed 2 grams of salt per serving. That is a third of your daily allowance in one quick meal. Combine this with other foods throughout the day. A slice of toast with butter, a sandwich at lunch, and you could easily double the recommended sodium intake without realizing it. The numbers add up silently. The ingredient list includes tartrazine, that controversial artificial color linked to allergic reactions and sensitivity issues in studies conducted across multiple countries. While approved for use in the UK, tartrazine is restricted or banned in several other countries due to health concerns documented by their regulatory bodies. Why are British consumers expected to accept ingredients that other nations have deemed unacceptable for their citizens? Kohi uses palm oil throughout its range. The saturated fat content contributes to cholesterol buildup, particularly LDL, the harmful cholesterol that clogs arteries over time and leads to heart disease. For seniors already managing heart disease through medication and lifestyle changes, every gram of saturated fat matters. Kohi packets deliver it in abundance. The manufacturing quality has raised concerns among consumer watchdogs and online reviewers. Reports of foreign particles, inconsistent seasoning levels, and stale products suggest quality control issues at production facilities. When you're paying very little for a product, the company is cutting costs somewhere. Often that somewhere is food safety and quality assurance. The taste itself, that intense, almost chemical saltiness, it is engineered to override your natural satiation signals. You finish the packet wanting more. The craving is deliberate. It is designed by food scientists to drive repeat purchases, not to nourish you or leave you satisfied. For seniors with kidney disease, Kohi is particularly dangerous. Your kidneys cannot efficiently process excessive sodium when they are already compromised. The result is fluid buildup, elevated blood pressure, and increased strain on organs already under stress from aging and disease. Kohi promises affordability. What it actually delivers is cheap ingredients with expensive health consequences. Why is it always the cheapest foods that seem to cause the most health problems? Coincidence? Coming in at number 3, we have Maggi Noodles. Maggi is a global brand owned by Nestlé, one of the largest food corporations in the world with annual revenues in the tens of billions. The brand promises trusted quality, familiar flavors, and decades of experience feeding families worldwide. You would expect corporate oversight of this magnitude to guarantee safety. Surely a company this size has rigorous quality control. The reality has been scandalous. In 2015, Maggi Noodles were banned in India after laboratory tests conducted by food safety authorities found lead levels nearly 7 times the permissible limit. Lead, a toxic heavy metal linked to brain damage, kidney failure, and cardiovascular disease. It accumulates in the body over time and causes permanent harm. This poison was detected in products that millions of families were feeding their children and elderly relatives every single day. Nestlé initially denied the findings. The company fought the ban legally in Indian courts while quietly reformulating products behind the scenes. Eventually, Maggi returned to shelves, but the trust was shattered for many consumers. A brand that promised safety had been delivering poison to the most vulnerable members of society. The UK formulation differs from the Indian product, but the corporate culture remains the same. When a company prioritizes profit over safety in one market, can you really trust it in another? The same executives make decisions. The same cost-cutting pressures exist. Maggi Noodles sold in Britain contain substantial sodium, around 1.8 grams per serving. The flavor enhancers include MSG and various hydrolyzed proteins that trigger similar glutamate responses in your nervous system. For seniors sensitive to these additives, symptoms can include headaches, digestive upset, and heart palpitations. The noodles themselves are fried during manufacturing, adding saturated fat to every portion. The texture, that oily, slightly heavy mouthfeel you notice when eating them, it is the saturated fat you are consuming with every bite. Nestlé's track record on food safety across its brands is troubling to examine. From infant formula controversies that made international headlines to environmental concerns about water extraction, the corporation has prioritized shareholder returns over consumer welfare repeatedly throughout its history. Maggi promises trusted heritage. What it delivers is corporate indifference dressed in nostalgic packaging. At number 2, we have Koka Noodles. Koka is manufactured in Singapore and distributed widely across UK supermarkets and Asian grocery stores. The brand offers multiple flavors, competitive pricing, and bright, appealing packaging that catches the eye on crowded shelves. For budget-conscious shoppers looking for variety, Koka seems like a sensible choice. But the numbers tell a different story. Koka Noodles contain some of the highest sodium levels in the entire category. Certain flavors exceed 2.2 grams of salt per packet for seniors on sodium-restricted diets, and nearly every heart condition requires sodium restriction according to NHS guidelines. This is genuinely dangerous. The British Heart Foundation recommends consuming no more than 6 grams of salt daily for adults. A single Koka packet provides over a third of that limit in one sitting. Add normal meals throughout the day, and you are almost certainly exceeding safe levels. The maths does not lie, even when the packaging does. Koka uses artificial flavorings and preservatives throughout its range. Tertiary butyl hydroquinone, or TBHQ, is a preservative found in some variants. While approved in small quantities by regulatory bodies, TBHQ has raised concerns in scientific studies about potential links to vision problems, liver enlargement, and neurotoxic effects at higher doses. Long-term cumulative exposure from eating these products regularly remains poorly understood. The palm oil content adds saturated fat to every serving. For seniors managing cholesterol through diet or medication like statins, this undermines daily efforts to protect cardiovascular health. You take a pill each morning. Koka undoes its work each evening. Consumer reports online have flagged Koka for inconsistent product quality. Some packets arrive fresh and flavorful. Others have a stale, rancid odor suggesting the palm oil has oxidized during storage. Oxidized fats are particularly harmful. They generate free radicals that damage cells and accelerate aging throughout your body. The texture of Koka Noodles, that slightly chewy, oily finish, it indicates heavy processing. There is nothing natural about this food. It is engineered for shelf life, not for health. Koka promises authentic Asian flavor. What it delivers is processed convenience with documented risks. What is the worst instant noodle you have ever opened? Drop it in the comments below. And at number 1, the worst offender, we have Indomie. Indomie is phenomenally popular worldwide. Billions of packets are sold annually across dozens of countries. The brand has cult status among instant noodle enthusiasts who debate flavors online and create recipes. The mee goreng variety is particularly beloved for its intense, sweet, savory seasoning that tastes unlike any other brand. But popularity does not equal safety. Indomie has faced multiple international recalls for serious contamination issues that should alarm any consumer. In 2020, European authorities issued alerts after ethylene oxide was detected in certain batches. This carcinogenic substance, banned in food products across the EU for causing cancer, had contaminated seasoning packets distributed to multiple countries, including Britain. The recall affected products sold in UK shops. Consumers who trusted the brand had unknowingly purchased potentially carcinogenic noodles. They fed them to their families. They ate them themselves, all while trusting that regulators and companies were keeping them safe. Indomie's sodium content is staggering even by instant noodle standards. A single mee goreng packet contains over 2.5 grams of salt, more than 40% of your daily recommended intake in one serving. For seniors with hypertension, heart disease, or kidney problems, this is not food. This is a medical risk wrapped in colourful packaging. The flavour sachets, there are multiple in each packet, creating that distinctive taste. They contain concentrated MSG, soy sauce, and chili paste. Combined this, they deliver an intense taste hit that overwhelms natural satiation signals. You finish the packet craving more. The seasoning is engineered by food scientists to create dependency, not satisfaction. Indomie uses palm oil extensively throughout production. The noodles are fried before packaging, saturating every strand with oil that goes rancid over time on shop shelves. That slightly stale, heavy taste some consumers notice, that is oxidized fat entering your system with every mouthful. The manufacturing standards in Indonesia have faced scrutiny from international food safety experts. While the company claims rigorous quality control, the recurring contamination incidents suggest otherwise. When a brand repeatedly fails safety tests across multiple international markets over multiple years, the problem is systemic, not accidental. For seniors with compromised immune systems, consuming products with contamination histories is gambling with your health. Your body lacks the resilience to fight off toxins that younger people might process without noticing. The stakes are simply higher when you are over 50. Indomie promises bold, authentic flavor. What it delivers is contamination risk, excessive sodium, and corporate denial wrapped in bright packaging. Do you think the government protects consumers or the food industry? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And now for the 2 instant noodle brands that are actually safe. We have spent this video exposing the dangers lurking in Britain's most popular instant noodles: high sodium, hidden additives, contamination scandals, corporate indifference. For seniors trying to protect their health, the supermarket aisle has become a minefield where every colourful packet hides potential risks. But it does not have to be this way. There are options that prioritise your well-being over their profit margins. Companies that believe convenience should not require compromising your health. The first safe option is Mr. Organic Brown Rice Noodles. Mr. Organic takes a completely different approach to instant noodles. The brand uses organic brown rice instead of processed wheat. There are no artificial preservatives, no flavour enhancers, no hidden MSG lurking under alternative names, and no palm oil contributing to saturated fat intake. The sodium content is dramatically lower than conventional brands. A typical serving contains less than half a gram of salt, a fraction of what competitors deliver. For seniors managing blood pressure, this makes an enormous difference to your daily totals. Brown rice noodles provide genuine nutritional benefits that processed noodles simply cannot match. The whole grain retains fiber, vitamins, and minerals that are stripped from processed wheat noodles during manufacturing. Your digestive system processes them more slowly, preventing the blood sugar spikes that destabilize energy and mood throughout the day. Mr. Organic is certified organic, meaning independent bodies verify ingredient quality and sourcing on a regular basis. There is genuine accountability backed by audits and inspections, not just corporate PR speak on fancy packaging. The texture is different from conventional instant noodles, slightly chewier, less slimy, more substantial in the mouth. This is what real food feels like, not the heavily processed mush you have been conditioned to accept as normal over decades of marketing. Mr. Organic proves that convenience does not require compromising your health. For seniors wanting a quick meal without hidden risks, this brand delivers genuine safety you can trust. The second safe option is Clear Spring Organic Japanese Noodles. Clear Spring has built its reputation over decades on authentic Japanese food traditions combined with strict organic standards. Their instant noodle range reflects this commitment to quality and transparency that sets them apart from mainstream manufacturers. The noodles use organic wheat and rice, avoiding the chemical treatments and bleaching processes common in mainstream brands. There are no artificial additives, no MSG under any name, and no flavour enhancers designed to create cravings. Sodium content is carefully controlled at levels far below competitors. Clear Spring's products contain significantly less salt than conventional instant noodles, making them suitable for heart-healthy and kidney-friendly diets. Your doctor would approve. The brand sources ingredients transparently with full supply chain disclosure available to consumers who ask. You know where your food comes from. You know what went into making it. This is the accountability that mainstream brands refuse to provide despite their massive resources. Clear Spring noodles are not fried during manufacturing. They are air-dried, avoiding the saturated fat bomb that other brands deliver in every packet. The texture is lighter, cleaner, genuinely nourishing without the oily residue. For seniors seeking convenience without compromise, Clear Spring offers proof that better options exist. The price is higher than budget brands, but your health is worth the investment. You cannot put a price on protecting your heart and kidneys. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.